Y'all, today we need to talk about a major development with Wizard101 on console. This is the big one, y'all. Officially, Wiz is out on console for public testing if you own an Xbox. That is right. I'm not sure anybody expected it this soon, but the first playable version of Wiz on console is officially out. However, it is out in a preview version of the actual entire game. So this game preview version of Wizard101 works a little bit different than the normal game, so I thought I'd make a whole video going through the details and everything that they're doing with this. So the actual game is free to download, but it is 20 gigabytes, which is quite a bit, so make sure you have space when you download this. And this is the first message that you get on Xbox when you actually basically access the game preview version of Wizard101, the first playable Wiz on console version. So they add the standard disclaimer and all of that, you know, like, yo, this is subject to testing. So what it gives to me is that this is for testing purposes. This is like a beta version of the game, except now it's on console. But here's the really big TLDR from this, you know, little disclaimer. None of the character data that you actually get for playing through the preview version of Wizard101 will be saved. And any crowns purchases that you make during this time period, while they will be used for in-game items and stuff while you're playing through the preview, they will be basically returned to you because all of your character data will be wiped after this testing period. So the preview version of the game does come with add-ons where you can literally buy crowns, just with the stipulation that after this preview period is over, these crowns, I guess, are going to be returned to KingsIsle. The money that you spent returned to you. Now, you might be wondering, right? At the making of this video, Wiz on console has been out for a few hours already. What does it look like? Some might be wondering. So far, and this just seems to be their stance on this, they have not added crossplay at all, meaning if you're a PC player, you do have to make a brand new account to play on console, but their intention is to make any console that you play on all operate in the same server, right? So if you played on the Switch, the PlayStation, or the Xbox, you can play with other players using other consoles all on this same new server. But this is what the current badge leaderboards in Wiz on console looks like. Those 170s are almost certainly devs. I think they just like coded themselves to be 170 to test out some higher level stuff. But yes, this is now the first version of Wiz that we've had in over a decade where the vast majority of players are like below the level 10. I think this is really crazy to see, but already the fact that it's only been a few hours and there's like this many pages on the leaderboards, I think there's a lot of early interest. The real big thing that I think that Wiz is aiming for with this is to just open up Wiz to a bunch of people that only play games on console. This is still a gigantic market. It could mean a lot for the game. Now, you might be wondering how the earliest paywall looks like. This is a big first impression for a lot of people, and it's a big form of critique, I would also argue, right? A lot of people, they play Wiz on PC, they have a real problem with the early paywall. Now, this is actually really interesting to me. So if y'all don't know, right, when Selenopolis came out, they actually did an entire retexture of the Oasis and the rest of Crocotopia. And that was in like November, I want to say. Around November, they retextured Crocotopia, but in order to let all of the OG players, I guess anyone with or without membership, see all of these changes, they made all of the zones up to the Oasis free to play in the PC version of Wiz. Now, they said that they would keep that until January, but it is still free right now. So it's May. It's been way more months free than they said that it would be. Now, that's cool and all, right? For people that play on PC, that's a nice, you know, welcome change. But in this game preview version, this first released version of Wiz on console to the player base, they've actually kept that change. So a lot of people's first impression for this, you know, prospective console audience is actually not going to see that crazy early paywall, even though some might argue that the Oasis is still pretty early. So basically what this means, right? Like, let's say that you're an Xbox player, you have 20 gigabytes of space, you download the game you played through. You don't actually have to make any purchases until you actually get to the Oasis and want to access the Pyramid of Sun. Now, this is super preliminary, obviously, but some people have already, you know, reported bugs with the paywall once they actually reach past the Oasis. So this is clearly already something that they probably have to work on. They're probably collecting feedback on this. But I think anybody that has either never played because they only play on console, or people that just want to try Wiz on console if they have an Xbox, I think the real best solution, as long as they have a membership elixir, is probably to buy enough crowns, which you will get returned anyways, right? Because the character data will be erased, as we said earlier, right? Buy enough crowns for a membership elixirs, buy that, and then if you want to play through the Oasis, just use a membership elixir so you can unlock all the zones instead of buying zone after zone with crowns manually, which I think would just cost more money for a testing phase anyways. I think that would probably be the best way to get, like, you know, best bang for your buck, even though the money's getting returned, especially because I don't know about y'all. Even if I know that the money's returning to my account, I'm still a little skeptical about dropping hundreds of dollars on crowns because it's still removed from your account, returned later. So I think if you're trying to be, like, you know, make a minimal purchase to see all of Wiz on console, I think the best case scenario would be to buy a membership elixir. I'm hoping that they kept a membership elixir, the 1 month prepaid time elixir, in the current console version of Crown Shop. I'm gonna assume they did. If not, that's something they should seriously consider adding so more people can test this without, you know, any upfront costs if they don't want to. I actually have one big question on my mind, I guess one big concern on my mind, and this is mainly based on some pretty serious issues with the way their approach with test run works. It's just something that, let's be honest, console, it's a much higher stakes thing than a spring update, a summer update, whatever update, right? This is like, it either does really well and Wiz gets a huge boost off of it, or it's just a really big missed opportunity. So I really hope that they've learned from the flaws in their approach with the way test run and live run work, because if they're trying to create, like, I guess a testing server for console, right, I'm sure there'll be bugs that they end up fixing, they end up getting feedback on. All of it's valuable regardless, but there have been many times in Wiz test run where people report a bug and it doesn't actually get fixed by live run because the builds are different, right? There have been many instances where a test run build makes its way into live run and ends up breaking 2 other things with it when they're trying to fix a bug that was already reported. Now, I don't know if that's just a PC thing, if that's based on maybe some outdated things that Wiz still has from just because of the fact that it's an old game. But what I really hope is that when there's a bug fix for console, it doesn't end up breaking something else. If there's feedback that's given in this test version of console, it doesn't somehow magically make its way back into, I guess, a live ROM version of it when it releases on console officially, right? There is like a little bit of that inbuilt exhaustion with it, like with that entire situation. I think it kind of came to a fever pitch with spring update this year. But I really hope, right, if this is just like a glorified test ROM for console, that's fine. I think it's still really cool that we have early access essentially, but I really hope that they learn from what has not worked with other testing features, I guess, we've had before, because a lot of the times things get reported, don't get fixed. We've seen glitches where they are reintroduced a few patches in, especially like with the raid reroll chest glitch, if y'all remember that. Right, that type of stuff, I really hope they have measures in place to avoid it. Their current plans for a preview version of the game on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch are still unclear. I'm sure a lot of people play on those consoles. I'm one of them. I'm kind of heart-rended over that, but their official plan is still to release on all 3 consoles at the same time when they have an official version ready to go. But y'all, this is the big leagues now. We actually have a playable version. I think we can all agree that's a big update. I'm very excited about this. Let me know if y'all are, you know, if I have any Xbox players or y'all have an Xbox, y'all plan on testing out Wizard101. If you already have, let me know how it feels to play the game all new like that. I feel like a lot of people are skeptical, but it could work for me. I think the social aspect of this is also really worth hearing about from people that actually have already had the opportunity to test it. We're still very early doors. So if y'all have any feedback to share in the comments, I'd love to hear it as well. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Hopefully this was a timely update, you know, breaking news on console. I'm trying to do that for y'all, so turn on notice so you don't miss a future console update. If somebody hasn't told they're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.